Welcome to another episode of Beyond Physical, where we talk about the mental, emotional, social, and at times spiritual benefits of exercise. We believe that exercise is more than movement, and this podcast is our attempt at sharing that message with the world by sharing our own as well as our guests' experiences and knowledge. If you enjoy it, we ask that you please spread the message by leaving a rating and review, or even better, by sharing with a friend. Last time we recorded, I got in trouble for not doing an intro, so I'm doing an intro. I usually don't do them.
Who did you get in trouble from?
From Kyra, the head of creative. Shout out Kyra.
Okay.
Friend. Excuse me, you interrupted my fucking intro. Shit, yes. I gotta start again.
Okay, sorry.
Friend, Harvard educated, Carry first careered, Ultra Trail possessed, Hisheng dumpling whipped, Stanford MBA bound, Spencer Ma, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the pod. Thank you for being here, fashionably late.
Sorry.
In your Satisfy fashion drip. So, I think we're here for two things today, maybe three. Number one, you've never been on the pod, and I feel like you should have been on the pod for a while. Number two, we're doing something really exciting together in the next 2.5 weeks. And number three, you kind of embody what I think is like super cool about Cape Town and exercise and what comes of when community sort of flourishes out of exercise. Because we obviously became friends through Horizen and through training and whatnot, but that's something that I will chat to you about a little bit later.
Okay.
But I think it'll be super cool just to, unpack that a little bit and speak about your experience and your journey in Cape Town, which is now coming to, I wouldn't say it's coming to an end, because I'm sure it'll always be something super special to you and you'll return for many years to come. But at least temporarily, you're going to be away for a while. But if you can take us back to the beginning, why did you first actually come to Cape Town? Like, how did you end up here?
Yeah, my brother was living in Cape Town at the time, and it was kind of at the tail end of COVID, where I was like itching to travel, and so it was coming up to his birthday, which is in May, and I decided to like surprise him and like show up halfway across the world in Cape Town and surprise him for his birthday. So yeah, that's how I first came to Cape Town, and when I came, I just fell in love with it. I think being from Southern California, there's a lot of similarities between Cape Town and the area here, and kind of the lifestyle and the geography and the weather and the people with Southern California. And so I kind of fell back into that, especially after having lived in New York for a little bit, and I think missing a little bit of the Southern California, I guess the vibe of the culture. And so really instantly fell in love with Cape Town, as I'm sure many people do, and a lot of expats for sure like myself do as well. And so upon going back to New York after that trip, I kind of decided that I was going to move to Cape Town and try to find a job that's facilitated me, and 6 months later it happened.
So that's a pretty quick turnaround to have that materialize. Mm-hmm. So you come to Cape Town, it absolutely blows your mind. You're in love with the natural beauty.
Yeah.
You enjoy the people.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing vibe. And then you hand in your resignation, or like how did that unravel?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Once I got back, I was kind of just obsessed with the idea of moving to Cape Town, and I still stuck at my previous job up until pretty much right before I left. But I was just always on the lookout for new job opportunities, and thankfully my brother, who is in kind of the startup scene in Cape Town, he had founded his own company called Stitch. They do payments in South Africa. He was very well connected in that scene and knew other founders and other people in the Cape Town startup scene as well, and connected me with the company that I now work at called Carry First, because he knew both of the co-founders, Lucy and Cordell, very well. So when I told him that I was looking for a job and wanted to move out to Cape Town, and I was working in entertainment at the time at NBC Universal, he tossed me the idea. It was like, what have you felt about moving and working at a gaming startup, which is what Carry First is, and that really intrigued me because I grew up as a gamer. I played tons of games. I played a lot of games during COVID as well, and so that for me was like the perfect opportunity. And then I got connected to Lucy, who is the co-founder and who is the hiring manager for the job, and she told me what the position was, and the position was to help Call of Duty or Activision, who publishes the game, grow Call of Duty in South Africa. And I was like, this is mind blowing because I literally played Call of Duty growing up, like COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, and then also played a ton of Warzone. I met some of my best friends during COVID playing Warzone. And so, yeah, I mean, it just, everything fell in line perfectly. And after the interview and after the whole process, they really liked me too. And so right after that, I packed my bags and moved to Cape Town shortly after. And so that whole process, since getting introduced to Carry First, meeting Lucy, and then doing the whole application probably took less than a month. And then afterwards, I packed my bags in like a couple weeks and left.
So what does Carry First actually do if, at its core, if your role initially was to grow Call of Duty within South Africa? Are they a distributor of games, or like how does it work?
Yeah, so Carry First has a couple of different services or quote unquote business models. They try to model themselves after Tencent in China, where they do three main things. The first is they make their own games. So at Carry First, we make our own mobile games. They're more like casual puzzle games for the African continent, also for the world. And the second thing is we operate this kind of like e-commerce shop called the Carry First Shop, where you can purchase in-game items and currencies like Call of Duty points and things like that using local payment methods. Because one big thing and one challenge is that on Apple and Google, it only accepts internationally accepted credit cards or other payment methods like PayPal or something that a lot of people in Africa don't have. And so we offer a payment solution in this online e-commerce shop that lets you purchase things like PlayStation gift cards, iTunes, Robux for Roblox, et cetera, like all these gaming products using local payment methods. And so that's the second business model. And the third one is just our ancillary marketing services. It's kind of like a marketing agency where we help games that want to enter the African market and grow their user base and revenue scale. And so this was belonging to that last pocket, which is us working with an existing publisher, which is Activision, to help them grow their user base in South Africa. And it was mostly around marketing, but then slowly turned to payments and a whole lot of other different things.
And then so you've been in Cape Town now for 2.5 years,
Yeah,
almost 3 years.
yeah.
How has your role changed in Carry First? How has the business also changed
Yeah.
since you originally got involved?
Yeah, that's a good question. My role has changed significantly since then. Like, I don't do as much of the like on the ground marketing as I did when I first started. Like with that first project with Call of Duty, I mean, we were hosting events, we were hosting gaming tournaments, we were contracting influencers and stuff to make content for Call of Duty in South Africa. We had really cool partnerships. Like our main brand ambassador for Call of Duty in South Africa was Nasisi.
Oh, that's
And so it was
crazy.
cool because we threw an event with him and we had a gaming tournament that was attached to his concert in Johannesburg, the Ivyson tour. So I'm doing less of that marketing stuff, even though that was really fun. And I transitioned into, after that project, Lucy assigned me to kind of commercialize the payments product called Pay First, where originally the payments product was just powering our e-commerce shop. Like it was the thing that you saw when you checked out, you just saw those lists of payment methods. But we decided that it was a good idea to make that into its own product and offer that to other people so that they could add our payment methods to their e-commerce website or their in-game purchasing kind of purchase flow. And so that was called Pay First, and I basically was involved in making that product a reality and then also shipping it to market and finding our first couple of partners or clients. And Activision was actually our first big client because of the success of the marketing campaign beforehand. It just naturally led into a payments partnership, which for us is great because we make a percentage off of every transaction. And so that commercially was a great deal for us. And then after that, after signing the first couple of clients, including Activision, Electronic Arts, Riot Games, it transitioned more into a growth role where I was trying to grow the revenue that we were making through these accounts. So it was like more kind of the marketing, but mainly with a focus on growing our revenue. So like selling Call of Duty mobile points on Carry for Shop through our payment methods, increasing the user base and also the revenue for COD-M, for EA FC Mobile, Riot Games products as well. So yeah, it's grown from marketing to BD slash product management now towards like growth, and also still, I guess, more business development role.
How was Andrew connected, your brother, for anyone listening that's Spencer's brother? How was he connected to the Carry First people? Because you're talking about this payment
Yeah.
thing, and I'm thinking, like, did he help them at all, or were they at any stage, were the Carry First people involved in payments? Because Stitch is a payments thing,
Yeah.
right?
Actually, funny enough, I think we've had a couple of conversations with Stitch. We've never formally partnered with them, though we share an investor. Andrew just knew. Andrew just met Cordell at a Bri.
Okay.
So it's like a very like it was more like a social thing, and then I think the startup scene in Cape Town, it's thriving, but it's still quite small and intimate. So everyone kind of knows each other, and so all the founders they know each other, and so I'm sure like from that Andrew was connected to Cordell and Lucy, and then knew that I was working in entertainment, so connected the dots and helped make that happen.
I always find like the word startup is very synonymous with tech, though.
Yeah.
If you say startup scene,
yeah,
you
yeah,
mean
yeah.
like tech startups.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, I would consider Horizen a startup, but I know little to no people in tech,
Yeah.
and that's like the startup scene.
Yeah, exactly. I guess because of like Silicon Valley and all that, like when you hear of startup, you naturally assume it means tech startup, but you can have like a health startup or a gym startup or whatever it is.
Although I suppose, like, if you want to get into the nuance of it, like a
Yeah.
gym startup would be more like, I suppose, a local business as opposed to
Yeah.
a startup, and then a startup would, in my mind, a startup is tech.
That's fair. Like
Like-
maybe it means like a local business is like if it has brick and mortar or like if it's retail, whereas a startup is like just a group of people just trying to make something happen.
I think technically a startup is anything new.
Yeah.
Or because I know in entrepreneurship we learned about like the actual definitions of the different growth phases of a business.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
startup phase is like the beginning phase or whatever.
So what would you think Horizon is currently? Like how would you define Horizon's right now in its growth trajectory? Would you still say that's a
I
startup,
would
or would you
definitely
say
say startup because there's so much changing and it's very high growth and a lot of
Yeah.
like if you come back here in 6 months or as a member of the team within Horizon, because I think that's a better way to measure the culture and the actual nature of the business. As a member of the team, if you had to transport or teleport 6 months into the future,
Yeah.
it would be completely different internally because systems
Yeah.
are changing. For some things, they aren't even systems.
Yeah.
And that's just by virtue of the fact that everything is still so new
Yeah.
and we're adapting to new challenges or challenges that we haven't faced before. So then
Yeah.
almost reactively, the one thing we are doing proactively is SOPs for, multi-location rollout.
Yeah.
That's something that we're doing proactively.
Yeah.
But most other forms of systems building happens reactively.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I didn't know that's a problem.
Right,
Okay,
right.
let's fix it. Oh
Right.
damn, I didn't know that would be hard. Okay, let's fix
Right.
that. Like our accounting system, for instance.
Yeah, like it's all this like admin stuff like payroll, HR, things like that like as an entrepreneur or business owner you kind of have to learn on the fly.
Yeah, and also until your business is at a certain stage,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually feel necessary. Like I'm very much pro like Toyota lean method. Don't build it until you absolutely know. Like don't add the part
Yeah.
unless it's entirely necessary.
Yeah.
Because that's how you can die really quickly. I think that happens with a lot of gyms as well because the
Yeah.
initial investment, especially for like a small business type thing, it's big. Like it's a lot.
That's actually interesting because I remember we were talking about when you installed the access management. Like I was thinking, like, why didn't you install that before? Like this is easy, like-
Fundamental,
yeah,
yeah.
fundamental, like part of your gym. But when you explained it to me, like it made so much sense. Like at the beginning, obviously your volume was still very high, but it is a huge investment for an access management system and the app that went in with it. And so I was just thinking like, why don't you just, I remember saying like, why don't you just like do like a key fob system where you can just scan it in and it opens the door and you're like, it's not that easy.
I think if resources were unlimited,
Yeah.
I would be. I don't know if I would be a lot less lean, but I would definitely be more.
Yeah.
Sort of. I would indulge more in like just trying stuff and like doing it and seeing if it works.
Yeah.
Whereas like access
Yeah.
management, I think was like a pain point that got to like an unbearable level where we're like, okay, we have to implement this.
Yeah.
Like now I have to pay. to
Too
get
many
this
people were sneaking into
And
your
it's
gym.
like, we just can't keep track of the people, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, shit, now we need it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we're probably losing the amount of money from like not billing people timeously,
Yeah.
you know? That amount, that loss is equating to the 60 grand plus the
Right.
recurring subscription for the access management.
Right. But I mean, that's like a milestone in and of itself, right? Where you're getting to a volume that warrants having to have a system like that and making that investment. Also, same thing that you have with the studio, right? Like you're getting to a volume and a demand for your classes that warrants having a new space.
True.
I think it's something to celebrate. For
That's
sure.
a good problem to
Yeah,
have.
it is definitely like, I mean, the investments definitely seem like a lot upfront, but like they mean bigger things in the future, which I think is really exciting.
100%. Speaking about that doesn't actually align with bigger things in the future, but we're on the topic of Horizen. So I mean, we became friends through Horizen.
Yeah, that's correct.
Can you share? Can you share how you became a member
Yeah.
and what the early days were like?
Yeah, the second question is going to be fun to answer. But when I first moved to Cape Town, I was kind of, well, my brother was still here. He moved like 3 months after I came. He decided that he was going to quit his job and go back to the US. And he was just
He
like,
left Stitch.
Yeah, he left Stitch and he left Cape Town as well. He was just like, oh,
Well, Spencer's
yeah,
here.
exactly.
I'm out.
Too many moths in Cape Town. I gotta leave. So yeah, he ended up leaving, and so I was kind of on my own. We were originally gonna try to find an apartment to live together, but then after he left, I was kind of left looking for my own accommodation, and I was kind of bouncing between Airbnbs for a little bit, and never really thought about living in Sea Point. I never really put that much thought into the Atlantic seaboard because a lot of my life before then, like my office was in Gardens. I'd only really spent a lot of time around Gardens as well. That's where my brother was living in the waterfront. So I just decided, like, it's a new area. Why not give it a try? And booked an Airbnb for a month in Sea Point. And it just so happens it was right across the street from Horizen. And I think I booked the Airbnb for like January, and Horizen opened in what, December or?
So kind of soft launch was November actually.
Yeah, okay.
But official launch was Jan the 2nd, 2022.
Yeah.
No, 2023, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So I had moved in January 2023 to Sea Point, and I was just looking up on Google Maps like gyms near me, and I think I trialed the BUC or BIC or whatever it's called.
BUC.
Yeah, BUC down in Sea Point, and then I trialed Horizen as well, and I think you had like 3 reviews, all 5 stars. So probably like you, Kyra, and Gideon or something. Yeah. But I was like, I'll give it a look. The photos look like someone's apartment that just got turned into a gym, which is honestly, I mean,
That
I
is
wasn't
what it was, actually.
Yeah, and actually the reason why I didn't go to BUC was because I was kind of put off by the vibe. Like I just walked in, it was quite busy, but it just looked a little bit messy. Like tons of equipment was thrown around, and it is a big space for sure, but it just didn't seem like there was like a community element to it, which I was really looking forward to. And when I joined Horizen, I think you were the only person there when I went for the first time, and I said like, hey, I'm here to trial Horizen because I think there's like a free day trial that you can do, completely no strings attached, which in the gym world is like unheard of.
Yeah, I didn't even like collect your details.
No, you just said, yeah, sure, like feel free to come in. And I remember it was like, you didn't have a speaker at the time, so there's no music. I didn't bring any AirPods, and so it was like, not like awkward, but it was just silence, like me clanking metal and you probably just like sitting in the desk, like reading or doing something like in the background. And it was really just like, yeah, I don't think a single person showed up during the hour that I was there. But at that point I was like, okay, like this is so convenient. And also this is exactly what I needed. And also like, it seemed like the community was very strong, even though there was no one. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because I had gone a couple times later that week, and then I ended up just buying a full year's membership, like pretty much on the spot. So yeah, that's how it happened. And as I slowly became more situated and settled in Cape Town, in Sea Point, ended up getting a full-time lease in the apartment in Sea Point as well. Like I kind of built like a lot of my life around that strip of main road. Like
Yo, you used to go to Kimchi a lot.
yeah, I used to go to Kimchi a ton, which was just below Horizen, and Arthur's. Like that was, I mean, you and the gym was instrumental towards me like laying down proper roots after 6 or 7 months of like living out of a suitcase and not
Interesting.
really having a home. And I think it's really interesting, like these businesses and especially like having that kind of local feel, like it really does do a lot to like anchor someone's mind and like, okay, this is my home, this is my community, this is my gym, this is my cafe. So that for me was Horizen. And the early days of Horizen were incredible. Like, I mean, that whole like from January to maybe it was like June or so that I was remember that I was like coming in maybe 3 times a week, just doing strength training. I hadn't started running yet, but we would chat like sometimes maybe. Sometimes you would be preoccupied, and I think maybe I was just like intimidated because you were like, I guess the gym owner, and I was just like, oh, dude, he's just like way too cool. Like I can't talk to him. It's like chatting all these other members and like having all these really cool conversations
so
with like
funny.
Gideon and stuff, and I was just, I don't know, doing my own thing. But I guess like over time, slowly, like we became friends, and mostly because I was coming in at like 6 a.m. and I would see you like you just woken up, or no, you would wake up at like 4:30 or 5, whatever it is, and I think one person would come in, and then I would be like the second wave of people that came in. But yeah, you were still living at the gym, and so I would sometimes catch you like ring the doorbell and no one would answer, and then finally someone would answer, and you're like, oh shit, sorry, like I just woke up. Or no, I just woke up from like a nap because I had to wake up for like 4:30.
So funny, man.
But yeah, like it was. I mean, those. It's great for like the because I'm a huge routine person, and I love like seeing and like yeah, I love establishing routine and like seeing the same people and chatting and like um, having that kind of daily routine and like seeing you every single morning was like such a great way to start the day for me, especially because I was like, I know that Seb's gonna be there at the gym. I know that I'm gonna get like a cool like 10 to 15 second chat with him before my workout. And then that kind of just like grew and grew and grew. And as the gym itself grew as well, more and more people came. And then you ended up moving out of the gym. And then now we're in this new space. And so, yeah, it's been pretty incredible.
There was also the connection with Brendan though, because
Yeah.
didn't you trained with Brendan?
Yeah, so it was at the same time that I was training with Brendan for the Two Oceans. So this was around Two Oceans was April 2023. So the months leading up to the Two Oceans, I was with Brendan.
How did you find Brendan?
So he used to,
He had Bunker 11.
yeah, exactly. He used to do group classes at Bunker 11, and my friend Kay brought me to a class, and we did it. And I really enjoyed Bunker 11, and I think during the class or something it was mentioned, or maybe Brendan had said that he was a professional trail runner. And to be honest, like I didn't know what trail running was before I moved to Cape Town. I didn't know it was a sport. Like I obviously knew running, and I did 1 year of cross country in high school, but I didn't know like trail running itself was a proper sport. Like didn't know what Western States was or UTMB or all of these like races around the world. And so when he told me he was a professional trail runner, I was like, what does that really mean? But I was intrigued, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm running the Two Oceans. Completely not knowing that there's a huge difference between road running and trail running. I was like, do you think you could help train me for this road half marathon for the Two Oceans? And he said, yeah, don't worry, like what are you thinking of doing? And I think at the time I was just like allergic to running. Like, I did one half marathon when I was living in Brooklyn in New York, and I almost died. Two Oceans was really no different, but yeah, that's how I got in contact with Brendan. And then it just so happened, I think, had you started your marathon block at that point, or I don't know if you were already in marathon training, but
In April 2023.
yeah,
2023, I'm pretty sure that was the year that I ran 100K. And that was in April.
Right.
That was in April. So,
Yeah.
I was training with Brendan at the time. I'd started with him at the end of 2022.
yeah,
And this 100K was dedicated to my mom because she had
Yeah.
passed away in 2022. So I was
Right.
like, okay, cool. I'm going to do something crazy.
Yeah.
What's crazy? Oh, shit, there's this 100K race. Let's do that. And Jason decided to join me. And Jason hadn't even run. Jason joined me for his first run
yeah,
like 3 months before we committed to the 100K.
yeah,
When I was doing a marathon prep training run, and he could barely run like 5:45. Like that was him at like flat out. Like no offense to anyone who runs 5:45, it's good pace, but like if you're full tilt running and that's your top pace and you want
Yeah.
to run 100K,
Yeah.
not that speed and endurance are like that correlated, but it just shows that you don't really run and you probably shouldn't be running 100K. Anyway, so he was like not a runner at all at that stage, but he was kind of like, okay, I'm going to do the 60, and then Jason's very competitive, as I think you are, as I am as well, and he was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm doing the 100K with
Yeah,
you.
that's insane.
So him and I started with Brendan at about the same time. No, because I did my marathon build with Brendan. He started with Brendan for that 100K build, which was
Yeah.
like November 2022. So we
got
prepped
it.
for 5-ish months, December, November, and then we ran the 100K in April at the UTD run.
That's insane. I mean, yeah, to be able to go from zero running to 100K in 5 months is
He's a maniac.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was very ill-advised.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, don't do that.
But now he's just like waking up and doing marathons. Just
He runs a lot
does.
now.
Yeah.
I think what happens when you have a sporting background,
Yeah.
you get accustomed to a certain way of living.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that thing that is physically really demanding,
Yeah.
you get a little bit antsy. I know you used to swim a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, you do definitely have a lot of. I do carry a lot of cardiovascular fitness from my swimming, but I think I lost a lot of that after I stopped. I stopped in high school, like just before I went to college, and then didn't do any sort of I didn't touch cardio at all in college and all the time that I was living in New York. So
Did
by
you
the
just
time,
lift?
yeah, I kind of just lifted, but it was like like I guess bro lifting, like mindless lifting, like going to the gym and doing a couple exercises. I wasn't like as intentional about my training as I am now, but yeah, I guess when I picked up running back again, it wasn't like I got all my cardio from swimming back. But I don't know. You and I have talked about this as well before. Like I mean, rugby is not a big sport in the U.S., but after meeting you and Jason and like some other rugby players, like rugby is an insane sport, and I think like if you define the true hybrid athlete between strength and speed and endurance, whatever it is, like rugby is probably the best sport for that. And I think I don't know, after running with you and seeing how fast Jason has really been able to go from 0 to 100 literally in 5 months, and like having a bit more of an athletic background with that, like, and also rugby where you do need to still keep up insane cardio shape. I don't know. I think there has to be something that is said about this sport that requires you to have both the strength that is needed to get through these really long distances in your legs and also elsewhere, but also the cardio,
Yeah, I think the big thing with rugby in the cardio aspect is what differentiates it from, for instance, something like American football, which is a similar format in
Yeah.
terms of, okay, the shape of the ball and there's tackling and it's a very high impact.
Yeah.
What makes rugby different is that there are far fewer breaks. There's a
Yeah.
lot more consistent open play.
Yeah.
And because of that, you develop quite a good base level of cardio.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to just continually be moving around and
Totally.
taking hits, and it's not like a reset every time. It's only when the ball goes dead.
Yeah.
If someone knocks it on, if there's a piece of foul play or a mistake, or if the ball goes out, that it stops. Whereas football,
Yeah.
every play, the
Yeah.
game stops. So you can be what's cool about football, American football, is that you can be a lot more specialized.
Yeah.
As an athlete, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
grab your
yeah.
water if you want.
That's okay.
You can become a lot more specialized. So you're like super big dudes,
Yeah.
or like super fast guys.
Yeah.
But you don't really need to have that, like compared to rugby at least, that general conditioning to
Yeah.
be strong and fast and have endurance.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. There was something else I wanted to ask you about sport and sporting backgrounds. Oh, no, it wasn't. What was really interesting that you shared was, and I haven't actually thought about this before, is that being a member of a gym or some sort of habitual form of exercise, that can be a really cool lever to create healthy habits, or just to create a routine in your life. Because like, as you said, using the gym as like a base,
Yeah.
and then you get your coffee shop's close to the gym.
Yeah.
The restaurant that you like to go to is close to the gym.
Totally.
And that can all feed into your daily rituals, which is really cool. And I never thought about that element of it, where
Yeah.
you kind of start doing other activities that surround that core activity.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because, I mean, for most people, I don't know if you can generalize and say all people, but like going to a gym and exercising makes you feel good afterwards. Like it makes me feel good afterwards having done exercise. And so it's all habit forming, right? Like you go into the gym, you feel good afterwards, and you associate that good feeling with having gone to the gym, and then you keep building upon that habit, and then it just becomes again your routine. But yeah, I think Horizen does a really good job as well of enforcing that, especially within the community. Like, I mean, I know that this past summer for you guys was super successful in terms of getting people to come and join. Even a lot of expats who are just coming for a week and buying short-term passes. Like, I'm sure for them, they found coming to the gym very valuable as like a daily ritual or something that they did while everything else was like, something that they had to figure out because they were in a different country. I do think it does anchor you to like a very good point of stability.
It is really nice to have that. I must say, when I
Yeah.
traveled recently, I did find a gym, but I think Sea Point's a unique place because most things are quite close by. Whereas where I was, the things weren't that close by, but it was still nice to have a gym. Like, it was a massive
Yeah.
privilege to be able to have that. So I'm going to ask, I have two more, but I'm going to ask this one question actually. So, final peaks. What does that mean to you? What is that? Can you speak a little bit to that project?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and just take us through that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Final Peaks is our project going through and conquering the 13 Peaks Challenge. The 13 Peaks Challenge was created by legend Ryan Sands, and it runs through 13 of Cape Town's most iconic peaks in the Table Mountain and the Cape Peninsula area. And it spans roughly 106 to 110 kilometers with 6,200 meters, I think, of vertical gain. So just a really long trail run or trek. And me, like, especially now, I'm at the point where I'm about to leave Cape Town to go back to the U.S. It was kind of like my, I guess, farewell to Cape Town, particularly trail running. I discovered what trail running was while living in Cape Town, then fell in love with the sport, and then really pushed myself in the sport. And now I think this is kind of like my final kind of capstone project for trail running, at least for this chapter of my life in Cape Town. And for me, I think it's just like, a way to say thank you and also to say goodbye to this very special place. And very glad that you get to join me for it as well. 'Cause, I mean, you're probably, definitely my closest friend that I've made while living in Cape Town. And so to be able to share that experience with you is going to be very special. I mean, it's going to be definitely grueling, but I think it will be I think, again, very special and very transformative, both in terms of the actual experience itself and also what it represents in terms of my time in Cape Town and what's next. So I don't know. I guess I couldn't leave without doing one more like super hard thing. And this is the project that I decided to take on.
You know what's so funny as well is, like, I know you've been pushing so hard to do it in one day.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's still, I think, to be honest, if we had decided to do it in one day,
Yeah.
and the only reason I mean, it's very selfish on my part, but the only reason I've been like pushing for it over 2 days is because I really do want to do it with you, and I also, I just don't think I'm in the condition I'd want to be to do it in one day without like significant injury risk.
For sure.
Not the smartest thing. I haven't been in a training block at all. I've probably been averaging like 20 Ks a week for the last, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But what I was actually alluding to was, this is actually going to be the biggest trail run that you've done, because you've done your 100K out in the Drakensberg, which is gnarly, really crazy event, so beautiful though, which you did in April or May, right?
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, April.
And I mean, that was big, but that's like 2,800 meters of vert, 3,000.
Yeah, just over 3,000.
Just over 3,000. This is more than double.
Yeah.
You know, it's double the vert.
Yeah.
It's longer as well. Like, it's a really good way to like end with a bang.
Yeah.
And I think it is very special and such an awesome thing to be able to experience together. I think that's really, it's fun to do those kinds of things, but it's also very cool to share them. And I think I think as much as like when, for instance, when Jason and I do these ultra things together, we at some point go our separate ways, but it's still something that we're doing together, and I think that makes it so much cooler.
Yeah.
Like just like a small thing that I'm super looking forward to is when we're going up Platter Clip and you're like, yeah, how you feeling? And then I'm like, yeah, and then we just like the check-ins.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's like, I dig that. Like I dig like you just like get in your zone and you're just kind of like chipping away and you like, it's almost like just you in kind of like a bubble and it's like it's an amazing experience, but you also you go into like a flow state.
Yeah.
Which is
sure.
a shared flow state,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you're also having your own experience. It's super fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like a secret understanding between you two of
yes.
like what you're going through, how you're feeling, and yeah.
I think it's why a lot of like people who play in sports teams together have such long-lasting friendships, is because it's like that shared suffering. Like in many ways, it's like I don't know. There's actually a saying for it. I'll find it out and we can talk about it later. But there is a really cool thing about that, and I think, for instance, I don't know if it was you who said it or someone else, but when the gym flooded last week,
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
bringing of the people together,
Yeah.
of the team,
For sure.
to clean the place up, even though it wasn't a fun task,
Yeah.
it was very bonding, and it was also it made it a lot cooler than and easier than if it was just one person,
Yeah.
doing it.
Or if it didn't even, I mean, it's a terrible thing that it happened, but if it didn't happen, like you wouldn't have had that bonding experience.
Exactly, that's true. But yeah, I think Final Peaks is a really apt
Yeah.
farewell to Cape Town, because you really get to exhaust the
Yeah.
landscape. And when you leave on that airplane, you'll be able to look down on the mountains. And be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
okay, I'm fucking done with that for the next I don't know how long.
Yeah, I can
was
like
beautiful.
track. I've been like looking at this GPX for so long, just like looking at the route, and from the plane I can see like, oh, this is the route that I that I took. But yeah, I think it would be epic, and again, being able to shoot like a small film or documentary about it with Cindy and Mark as well, it's going to be amazing. I don't know. I've tried to look up like some videos of the 13 Peaks, and there have been some videos and stuff that I've made about it, which have been incredible references to look at and just to kind of envision and picture what the journey is going to look like. But I really feel like showcasing like the raw beauty of Cape Town and the Table Mountain area and the Cape Peninsula as well. Hopefully the weather will play nice and not, be pouring rain the entire time. But I think it's a great way as well to showcase like Cape Town trail running and say like, I mean, Cape Town is one of the best places, like at least definitely top top one in my books, but like top three, hopefully in others, of best places to trail run in the world. I really want to showcase that, and hopefully like we can also get some really cool partners to come on board and help showcase that with us, and also just like spotlight the Cape Town trail running community. Like it's a very welcoming, warm community. Like it's a huge aspect for me, like why I run, even though I do run a lot of the time solo. Like I really prefer to run with groups of people, or like when you go to races and you meet a lot of like amazing people who are all part of this community and all do like really hard, questionable things together, in terms of like how insane they are. I don't know, I think there's definitely something special to be said about that. And just like from the people that I've met from my races and from trail running, like it's definitely brought you and I closer together because we've shared so many hours on the trail itself. That wouldn't have happened if it didn't have trail running. I definitely think that hopefully this project encapsulates that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome as well to see, because I mean, I've just been chatting about it here at the gym and with our community, and they like a lot of people are super receptive to the whole idea of running segments with us, and I think that's going to be super cool too.
Totally.
Making a proper day of it, or 2 days of it.
Yeah.
How's the accommodation situation, by the way? Have you found anything
No,
promising?
I'll have to look at something in that Norfolk area. Depends on how many people want to join. I'm sure it'll probably just be like most of our like core crew of people. But I'm sure I'll just find something for a night and figure that out.
So obviously, I wanted to keep everything centered around community and movement and things like that. But ultimately, my greatest curiosity is what you know, you've got a great position at Carry First. You've got a beautiful life here. You're Harvard educated already.
Yeah,
Why? You know, I mean, it's a very
for sure.
that's a commendable thing. What is the itch that you want to scratch around getting your MBA at Stanford? What inspired that decision?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, I had always thought about business school or some sort of graduate school since graduating college. In the U.S., it's a really easy way of progressing your career up the corporate ladder. Let's say like if you were in finance or management consulting or whatever, and you got your MBA, it can unlock like higher levels of salary or higher levels inside the organization. And so a lot of people used to traditionally think that getting an MBA was required for attaining C-suite level positions and things like that. But for me, it was completely different. I at first I thought that I wanted to do that and to climb the corporate ladder while living in New York. But ever since moving to Cape Town and joining the startup scene, I knew that I was going to stay in venture, and I wanted to explore entrepreneurship. And then by no means do you have to have an MBA to start a business. In fact, many people don't.
I don't have an MBA.
Yeah, exactly. Like many people don't, and actually, you can make the argument that like more and more MBAs are less starting businesses, or like investors are less investing in MBAs, and like more preferring the college dropouts, like Mark Zuckerberg type. But for me, like I knew that I wanted to start my own business at some point, especially with this experience at Carry First and understanding what it takes to grow a business. I really want to make something of my own. And business school kind of fluttered in the back of my mind for a couple of years, but I was so into my job at Carry First and that I really wasn't thinking about it until last year, where I decided to apply. And really, that decision came from me thinking that if I were to make a business, I think the best thing that I could do right now is set up an incredible network back in the U.S., especially if it were to be either a U.S.-based company or an international company. Um, Obviously, the best investors in the tech ecosystem are in the U.S. And yeah, I guess kind of being able to go back to school again. I had my fifth year reunion for Harvard last year, like around last May or June, and being on campus, like it was my first time being back on campus since graduating. Like it was very nostalgic. Like I kind of missed that academic feel where everyone is a student and everyone is like there for the pursuit of learning. I kind of just miss learning for fun, or not for fun, but not having to work
And that being your full
and yeah,
focus.
exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like learning being like your full-time job. And I'm super excited to go back into the classroom and to learn a lot that the MBA has to offer and meet a ton of really amazing people as well, and be immersed in kind of a very startup slash entrepreneurship heavy ecosystem like Stanford or the Silicon Valley slash Bay Area. Um, and then also like I think just to kind of do a little reset, like what do I really want in life? What is important to me, and what do I want to do with my future as well? It definitely was. I mean, it was a very tough decision because I have an incredible life here. Like, have a lot of friends, community. I have my girlfriend Bex as well, and Carry First treats me really well as well, and I really enjoy the work that I do there and the company itself. But I think for me, I don't know. I never want to think like, what if, like what if I went to business school? I should just do it and not have that question lingering in the back of my head. Um, and even if I'm in a super comfortable situation, like I think maybe you and I are similar in this way. Like we'll always find a way to make ourselves slightly uncomfortable and like pursue hard things because that is who we are. So maybe there's that element of it as well. Um, but overall, I think, yeah, I think for career and for personal purposes, like I think an MBA was the right decision for me.
It's kind of like creative destruction, you know.
Yeah,
You've got to, you've got to, you've got to cause a little bit of disruption
yeah,
within your life in order to
yeah. I was getting
grow
too
into.
comfortable here.
You know, you've got such
Having
an amazing life.
too
Just fucking
lovely of a
burn it all, bro.
yeah, exactly. Like
kill the boy.
I know, can't be getting too comfortable with these sauna sessions and having like a beautiful backyard.
I honestly just think it's a general sort of natural order when you
Yeah.
do want to enact change
Yeah.
and shift into something else that you know is going to benefit you, there will be discomfort.
Yeah.
It just seems like that's how it is
Yeah.
with anything. I mean, there's always going to be some sort of, there's no free lunch. It's like there's going to be some
Right.
give and take. It's also I think it also shows you how right the decision is,
Yeah.
that you're willing to at least put this life on pause,
Yeah.
or this version
Yeah.
of things. You're ready to move into another chapter, because it is so much fun and cool and serving you well, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that's really exciting, and I'm very keen to. I do very much plan on coming to visit.
Yeah.
I still got my
please do.
10-year visa. It's now only 8.5 to 7.5 years, but
No,
it's still good.
get that renewed.
Yeah, we might go to the World Cup next year, South Africa, the football
That would
World
be-
Cup.
oh,
which is
no
in
way.
Miami or something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That would be very cool.
but okay, amazing. If you had to let people know who are thinking about moving to a new place, an unfamiliar place, and they want to put their roots in and make a cool life for themselves,
Yeah.
what would you say is like? What's
Fine.
your number one piece of advice?
Find the nearest gym.
Find the nearest gym that the owner
Yeah.
lives in.
Yeah, exactly.
Has his kitchen in the reception.
No, I would just say, I mean, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty and adjustment no matter what in these kinds of decisions. I would just say, like, just go and do it, and then, and like try to find community wherever you can. Don't be afraid to meet new people.
And have a job.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely helped having job security before I moved here for sure. But if you don't, that's okay too. Like, just kind of take it as it goes. But embrace all of it, embrace the adventure, embrace the uncertainty. Yeah, I don't think I've ever, I mean, maybe some instances, but, I think by far and large, like a lot of the other expats that I've met, maybe I'm biased because it's mostly around Cape Town, and Cape Town is such an amazing place, but like most of the expats that I left never regret their decision of moving out here or like moving to a new place. So yeah, my advice is just, Nike slogan, just do it.
Just do it. Thank you so much, Spencer. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Where do people find you? Do they email you or something? Like if someone wants to ask you something, what do they do?
I mean,
You're
they can
also
send me
welcome
like
to say, don't contact me
You
if
can
you
send me
like.
like a carrier pigeon with a handwritten
Okay.
note.
But then you need to give us your address. That's even
Unfortunately, I
worse.
don't have an address.
Okay.
But you can just find me on Instagram. Just my first name, last name, Spencer Ma.
Spencer Ma.
M.A.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode. This is Beyond Physical, and I'm gonna go sauna now.
Nice.
Thank you so much for listening to the show, guys. We love answering specific questions. So if there's anything you want to know, leave a comment or reach out to us directly at Horizen ZA on Instagram, or email us at movement@horizongym.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Seb Prentice, and this is Beyond Physical.